From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Why are you a conspiracy theorist? And I said, why isn't everybody a goddamn conspiracy theorist?
This is the real research. Literally have an alien base, and they are literally communicating.
I don't have a whole lot of time.
Have you personally had any experience with interdimensional beings?
What we're thinking of as aliens, they have infiltrated a lot of aspects of military intelligence. They are not what they claim to be.
We leave you much that is undone.
It's one small step for man.
There are great ideas undiscovered.
Visit asteroids, visit the moon of Mars.
Remove one of truth's protective layers.
There's a monolith.
They want the major population centers wiped out.
Will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
One giant leap for mankind.
Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened.
Those challenges are yours.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
There are places to go beyond belief. Beyond belief.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Conspiracy Podcast. We don't take days off because reptilians don't take days off. And we're joined today by Richard from the Great National Strike, back from, I would say it was a pretty successful day for you.
Yeah, mate, it's a bit weird actually. There wasn't really much said on like mainstream news, which obviously is like to be expected.
Yeah.
But like GB News, they got me on the show like the day before, which was mega. But yeah, there's loads of videos circulating where people have taken like videos and pictures half an hour before it actually started, and they're circulating that. But I mean, I've got so many videos on my phone to disprove the trolls that it was a good day, mate. I enjoyed it.
It's such a common tactic that you see that with like the Trump inauguration and stuff like that, didn't you? Where they had like half empty places, you know, like,
yeah,
fucking 9 o'clock in the morning, October, like 2001.
Yeah. Oh, they're a pesky bunch, mate. They're a pesky bunch, these trolls.
It must be like, to get back from that, I bet that you got home and were like, fucking hell. Taking that, I mean, you're joining us tonight with a glass of wine. Cheers, mate. But yeah, it
mate,
must
I've got you drinking on the show. I do apologise. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, but apart from you drinking out of a little boy's glass, but it's fine. You know, we'll let you out.
I can't be trusted with a stem. I can't do it. I keep knocking it. I'm so clumsy, mate. So my wife's like, I can't. I don't have to have plastic ones anymore. So I am leveling up. It's just once I've had a few drinks out of these and I've not like destroyed anything, then I can go up to stems. So we're getting there.
I can't take the piss out of either of you because I've got a plastic sippy cup, Starbucks sippy cup with a screw-on lid.
Is that not even from your store? Is that not your merch?
No, it's not even merch. In fact, like it's as far as the companies go as well, it's like one of the worst of the companies.
Yeah, well,
oh
my be a conspiracy theorist, like screw the system. And you sat there promoting Starbucks.
What are you doing?
If any company's owned by reptilians, it's Starbucks.
They've even got one on the side of the cup.
I know. There's a whole thing about that, isn't there? For the esoteric meaning of this. If it makes me feel a bit better, it was just given to me. It's handy. Didn't buy it.
Oh my God. Ollie, have we just caught Lee out on being literal controlled opposition? Are the trolls right? He's controlled opposition, isn't he?
I have wondered.
There's no point in talking about that. As Dave always used to say, like I'm like one decision away from just being an employee. Don't flirt with me. Like just come at me with like cold hard cash. Right? I'll wear one of those little red bracelets that all the famous people suddenly get sooner or later.
I thought that was like a religious thing for you. Like what was it? Not cabal. What's it called?
It is a Kabbalah bracelet, yeah.
Yeah, but there's like a meaning behind it, isn't there?
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know what the fucking deal is with it, to be perfectly honest. I just know all the accounts where with like Q at the front of them, continually post pictures of people with them on. But
I think if we all started to wear little red bracelets, we'd do a hell of a lot better.
maybe.
Should we try it?
Yeah, let's try it.
I'm always wearing red. I don't know. I love the color red. I don't know why. I've always liked the color red. It's passion, Ollie. I know you get it, but everyone's always in my videos like, he's wearing red again. He's wearing red. He's part of the controlled opposition. I'm telling you, he's worshipping the devil. So I just
get a lot of it?
like red. The what?
Like, do you get a lot of the controlled opposition stuff?
Oh, mate, honestly, so it's quite disheartening because I've always been a conspiracy theorist for like 5 years, I'd say. But actually, since COVID, like a lot of people, that was when like my eyes were opened. That's when I started to sort of wake up, and a lot of the people that I've sort of followed and listened to and stuff, and I've admired and whatnot, they're now turning on me. So it's bizarre because obviously we got quite a lot of views and stuff, didn't we, to begin with, and we did really well on the socials. So everyone's like, oh, he's definitely controlled opposition. I've had he's part of the Jewish paedophile ring of Hollywood. I've had I'm working for Israel. I'm working for the British government. Yeah, mate, I've had it all. It's not. I'm just trying to sort our home out. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I've had it all.
The funny thing about
People
like,
turn
the
on you.
controlled, the funny thing about the controlled opposition thing, I always ask, well, it's okay calling someone in controlled opposition, but you need to tell me what they're controlled opposition against.
Mm-hmm.
There's never like the people just say, oh yeah, well he's controlled. Like, okay, why? You know, it's what's the psyop here? Why is, and it's always people like a Russell Brand, for instance, which and I can understand why people would come to that. And Rogan is another perfect example of this too. But there's got to be a point where you go, well, hang on a second. Even if you're like controlled opposition, if you're saying all the right things for long enough, how long until that controlled opposition becomes detrimental to its original cause?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I don't know, mate. I know you get a lot of well, you don't get a lot of trolling actually, do you? I know you did a little while ago in the comments on Spotify and stuff like that. You got accused of all sorts, but you'll notice like the bigger you get, and I'm not saying like I'm big or anything. We've got quite a good following, but the better you seem to do, the more those comments start to come. Mm-hmm. But it's part of the territory, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
We've just hit 500,000 today.
I saw
500,000
congratulations.
downloads. Yeah. So,
mate, and you only started in October, didn't you?
Yeah.
Mate, that's unreal. That is unreal.
I'm happy with it. Yeah,
you
it could definitely have be worse.
Mm-hmm. Where are you going to go with this then now? Because I've heard the Great British National lockdowns. I've heard
it's the Great British National Protest. But yeah, it's so we're going to be announcing phase 2. I'm looking at doing it this Monday. So tomorrow I'm traveling to Huddersfield and I'm going to be meeting like the whole team in person, and we're all going to be getting together, going through it all, because there's a lot that I don't even want to put on like through my phone. I don't want to do it on phone calls and text and stuff. I've been hacked several times. I don't know if you want to tell the viewers like my number in your phone. I dropped Dave a message, didn't I? And Dave was like, "Ollie hasn't even got your number anymore. It's just vanished from your phone." Was that right?
Yep. Yeah, there was
nuts.
something. I couldn't find your number in my phone, and then when I typed it in, I got the old chat up, but I couldn't find it to start off with. So, and I've not had that before. So there's some weird stuff that I've actually seen go on with your number, because Dave said like when Dave left, he said, "Oh, Rich has just messaged me. You had a problem with my number," and then I said, "Well, I've got a problem with his number," and I couldn't find. But then I did manage to find it. So I don't know if that's conspiracy or just me being a little bit dim.
I think
just being
odd
you.
things are odd. That's the best way to look at it. I remember years ago that first time where we do you remember when like Ashton Forbes was like really like going forward, and the first time we got Ashton interviewed on an Alien Addict. I was doing the same thing where I was putting it up as a podcast the next day, and again it sounds like dead fucking stupid this, but I had just a normal like Asus Windows laptop. I finished doing the podcast in the evening, left it in this room, didn't pick it up, didn't take it anywhere. Came in, got it in the morning, took it into the living room, opened my laptop, and it was like the hard drive had been changed in it. There was no OS on it or anything. It was just open it up,
Oh
black
shit!
screen.
I remember that.
Yeah, black screen. I had to do a
You
complete
mentioned that
fucking
before, haven't you, on the
Windows
show, I think, yeah.
reinstall. Yeah, it was the fucking strangest thing that's ever happened. And like, I'm not, I any IT knowledge I've got is like purely amateur. I'm not a professional IT guy, but I fucking know my way around like all the three sort of operating systems between like Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. I'm pretty fucking handy with shit. And I've never had that happen before. I've had hard drives corrupt, but like if a hard drive's corrupt, when I haven't been able to put just like reinstall Windows on it, like it was a brand new PC. It was just strange. It was really odd.
Yeah, so I got an email a couple of weeks ago, just before doing this first strike, from my local police force, Cheshire Police, and they emailed and they said, we need to get in touch with you. What can you pass us your phone number? So I rang them up and I said, just out of curiosity, like you've emailed my private email address, which isn't anywhere. So
I remember you
did
telling me
get that?
this. Me and you had a back and forth about this. Yeah.
And I was like, how did you get that email address? It's not public anywhere. Like, I don't know if there's a law. Can they just look into anyone for anything? Do they have to get like clearance from somewhere? I don't know. But I said, how did you get the email address? And he went, we've got our ways. And he was dead smug. I said, but you've asked me for my phone number. So why didn't you just get that rather than? And he went, well, we're not perfect. I said, it's because I keep fucking changing my phone number, innit? Because like Ollie, I keep having to change my number. It's getting hacked. I said to Ollie, I was on a night out. So when I first set this up, I was on a night out and like WhatsApp just disappeared off my phone. My wife hadn't messaged me. Like usually when I'm out, she'll message me and she'll say, I hope you're having a good time, sort of thing, just checking. And there was nothing, and I couldn't get a signal. It was a nightmare. And then the following morning, once I sobered up, I looked at my phone, and WhatsApp had gone, so I reinstalled it, and it was registered to a different number, a number that I've never seen before in my life. And then got home, back on the Wi-Fi, went through it all. So it was the same time that my laptop also like essentially exploded. But we'll get onto that in a minute. Everything had gone off my phone. All my files, all my folders, it just been completely purged. And then you can go onto like Wi-Fi analyzers. You can download like software. And my WhatsApp had been accessed the hour before I left the house 367 times. So there'd been 367. Yeah, that app had been essentially opened and closed. That's how it showed up on it was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. My laptop turned itself on in the night because I went through the BIOS, and like the core temperature of the CPU hit 176 degrees. Now they're supposed to like once they hit 100 C. Once they hit 100 C, they start what's the word you guys might know? Throttling. Yeah. Just didn't throttle. So it heated up to the point where it literally just melted internally.
Well,
so
that was a thing, oddly, that I read about. It was a few months ago now when there was what was it? It was the idea that essentially you could remotely change like the frequency, however a battery works in your phone. And by doing this, you'd essentially just put it into some sort of like either, I can't remember what type of cycle it was, but it would essentially just explode in your pocket. And they were saying like essentially like all these, and everybody has something in their pocket that could realistically take them out. And it's not a difficult task for like foreign adversaries and foreign nations to do it, or indeed your own government.
Yeah, if they want rid of you. I think it was just messages. There were just little things. There were just lots of very little things. It was almost like they were just sort of saying like, we know what you're doing. Like, we're here. Joe, just to sort of like try and fuck with me a little bit.
But that middle of the night,
and in the beginning, it was scary.
But middle of the night with your laptop, if that was to have caught fire.
Well, the thing is that it essentially it did on it, so it was plugged in. Yeah. So essentially it heated up to the point where the next day, like there was it left a mark on the actual table that it was on. It was it was nuts, mate. Honestly. So, yeah.
Do you know what? I went round. I think I was around at mum. It will have been my mum and dad's because they have the television on. I don't watch television at all. We don't even have the Lee too. We don't have television plugged into our televisions. If that makes sense, just for like Netflix or whatever. But there was an advert, and I think they must have been watching ITV or whatever. But it was an advert for WhatsApp, and I thought, well, let's see what this has to say for itself. And it was like it was making such a big deal about we don't spy on you. You know, we don't know what your conversations are. I just think if they're telling you that they're not spying on you, and they're telling you they don't know what your conversations are, maybe they fucking know what your conversations are, and maybe they're spying on you.
Yeah, people don't know this, but obviously WhatsApp's end-to-end encrypted. But there's literally a team at WhatsApp where the government will put essentially what is an application form into WhatsApp. And as far as I'm aware, through like people who have worked, who work like sort of intelligence in the army and stuff, WhatsApp have never denied a request from the British government to essentially hand over the information that they've got. So yes, it's encrypted end to end, but if the government ask for that information, WhatsApp essentially just hand it over.
Yeah.
So.
And somebody like yourself, that's probably what the government would be interested in.
Yeah, I mean, all they're going to find is really boring chats of what I plan to do with the strike and dick pics. That's it. Do you know what I mean? So they can have it. That's fine. If they want to wade through all of that, that's up to them. That's up to them, whatever gets them off.
I'm sure Starmer's got them pinned up to his wall.
I bet he has.
I bet he has.
God love him.
I know, bless him, old Rodney.
I was happy with the fact that it seemed to go off like reasonably violence free as well, because there was a big part of me thought that there was going to be some sort of like agent provocateurs thrown into the mix for you.
Yeah, mate, there was a bit of it, you know. So there were, I want to get this right. There were 9 arrests overall, 7 of which were the Antifa lot. One was a citizen journalist who had gotten too close to the Antifa lot, and then one was a case of mistaken identity. So the police that were there at the time thought he was someone else because there was a warrant out for someone's arrest, and they thought it was him, and then they realised it wasn't. So nobody from our side was arrested, which I think is absolutely mint.
Yeah.
I've been dead conscious with this because this is something that I sort of want to touch on. So. At the minute, so like the right, if you like, for so long, with the right have been almost sort of like pressed for years, where to the point where it's like on the left, it's perfectly fine for them to say, and I say the left because I am generalising. Not everyone on the left believes this. I hope so, but sort of on the left, like they could say, for example, we believe that you should be able to chop off like children's genitals, okay, because that's like, you know, it's brave and it's inspiring and it's, you know, it's hashtag equality and all the rest of it. And that's perfectly fine to say that. But the moment somebody on the right, again, generally speaking, says, well, actually, I don't agree with that. It's like, well, you're a fucking Nazi. You're like that's hate speech. You can't say there's only 2 genders and that you shouldn't be allowed to admit. So the right got very, very angry over the past sort of couple of years, and I think it's bottled up. So what I wanted to do was essentially like with this was put it together in a way where I can say, actually, I think you have to sort of be somewhere in the middle. I think that's the sweet spot, because if you're far right or far left, well, it's sort of in the wording. You're too far. Like it's so many ideologies now, whether you're on the left, whether you're on the right, they're pushing this sort of hatred, and it's further in the division, and we're playing into the hands of those who want to divide us.
Yeah.
So I've had to be very, very conscious with this, mate, where, yes, there's lots of other people doing similar things. They're having protests. They're on social media. They're really prevalent, and they say things, you know, and I've said to you guys, like, people have been in touch they're celebrities, they're famous, they've got millions of followers online, and people are like, oh, I love her, she says it how it is, you know, she's fantastic, and she's very, very well known.
You're talking about Dan Walton,
I don't like to name
you?
Yeah, I'm on about you, Dan. Fuck you, Dan. And they're like, they're not really wanting change. and they're not really trying to solve anything. They're just sort of feeding off this hatred that everyone has. And I have this massive fear at the minute that we're on the precipice of what is essentially going to be like, you're going to get pockets of like domestic terrorism. You're going to get pockets of
it feels that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, like that's the way it's going. You've got the right was sort of so oppressed for so long, and any sort of right wing view was wrong, and you were a Nazi and all the rest of it. So people just sort of shut up. They didn't want to, oh well, that's hate speech. So everyone just sort of like kept their mouth shut. And then over time, I think especially with this, like with Trump winning, the sort of the right wing ideologies, if you like, are coming back into play. And he's put pressure on Starmer, and he said, you need to allow free speech. And I mean, I've noticed people aren't going to jail for the things that they're saying now. Some of the stuff I've read on X just this past week, far worse than what Lucy Connolly posted, and she's in jail for 3 years for what she posted.
That is disgusting that she's in prison at all,
mate. Yeah, it. How can you justify that? Like, there are cases, and it's happening day in, day out. You can go and Google it, where paedophiles are being let free from court for showing remorse. Like, but then you get people like Lucy Connolly, who she put that X tweet up, that X post up. She took it down. Like, we all know the story. She's got PTSD. Her child died. Like, it's awful. She took it down. She apologized. She showed remorse. I shouldn't have done that. And yet she's serving the best part of 3 years in jail. Like, what's that all about?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
You've turned someone into a convicted felon for a tweet. I don't get it. Because this was something with the divide when we speak to people from the States about this sort of stuff, and when you watch I don't know, but people that might go on Rogan or something like that, and they're talking about the UK. And there's very much this thing of like, oh, people are getting arrested like for tweets and all that sort of stuff. And you go, this is happening very rarely, and it doesn't mean that we should like not think about this stuff with Connolly, because it's really fucking important. But it's more about setting. I wouldn't even say a precedent, because that would mean that they were going to carry through with it. It's a threat to people. Yeah. You just do it. You do it a couple of times, and then it's that big old fucking black cloud that has to hang around everyone. Because obviously there is no way. It's like it would be like if everybody stopped paying the tax tomorrow. So people would have to do something about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you couldn't you couldn't try and like rein all those people in. In the same way as you can't go and arrest everybody that puts a mean tweet on the internet, because let's be perfectly honest, people being mean to each other is one of the best parts of the internet, and everybody does it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, maybe
it's that thing that you shouldn't enjoy, so it makes you enjoy it even more.
Exactly, yeah.
Lee gets fucking off on it, mate. He loves
power. Yeah. If someone tries to, I try not to pick fights, because that makes no sense. But if someone tries to pick a fight on me, like, I just draw energy from them. It's great.
Game on.
What are your thoughts on? Actually, I don't think we asked this on when you were on with Dave. What are your thoughts on Robinson? Obviously, he's just got out of prison.
Yeah, I think. So again, he's in that sort of bracket of people who I hope to God he actually wants to make real change, and he's not. How would I word this? And he's not monetizing off people's anger. So Tommy Robinson has in the past made a lot of mistakes. He's owned up to them. He was very, very young. He's older, and I'd like to think much wiser now. And I have so much respect for anyone who can say, do you know what, I've screwed up in the past. I own up to it. I hold my hands up. Going forward, this is what I want to achieve. Now, he's made mistakes in the past. He's done and he said things where, looking back, you think, nah, that's not good. But what he's achieved by outing the Pakistani rape gangs, Elon Musk retweeting it, I think that's the most watched documentary in the world now. 167 million views.
It's insane.
This documentary. Nuts. And do you think what we know now about the Pakistani rape gangs, do you think we'd have all that knowledge now if he hadn't have done what he did? Because I don't think we would.
No.
I think it would still be getting covered up. So he's opened a massive he's opened Pandora's box there essentially. I think what Tommy's done with regards to the Pakistani rape gangs, his silence, documentary, and all the rest of it is absolutely fantastic. I think it's brilliant. He's made mistakes in the past, and I think what he's doing at the moment is we're gonna have to wait and see how it plays out because he's putting a protest on as well, like a march, a rally. I have to be very, very careful what I say here. But what I would say is, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with him, surely, as a free-thinking human being with a heart, anybody can agree with the fact that you simply shouldn't lock up a man for a civil offence. It wasn't a criminal offence. It was civil contempt of court. Anybody shouldn't be locked up for a civil offence in what is essentially a small box for... How long was he inside for, guys, in the end? Was it 9 months?
No, 8 or 9 months, something like that.
Yeah.
Or did he do 6? Sorry, did he do 6?
I think it was 6, yeah.
He was supposed to do 9 and he did 6.
Right, okay.
It?
So locking a man in a small room, okay.
I'd ask Google, but it'll lie.
Yeah, it'll just say, yeah.
About 15 minutes.
He was locked in he was locked in a small room for months. All he could eat was tins of tuna and packets of crisps because they didn't want the food to be meddled with. So, I know, yeah, mate. They had to open it at the door and the packets of crisps. Like, how can you put a human being in that position?
Yeah.
Regardless of whether you agree with Tommy Robinson or not, surely you can agree that that simply just shouldn't happen in a democratic society, supposedly.
Do you think they're trying to kill him with mercury?
Potentially, yeah. Well,
you know, from the tuna.
I got dropped a message from somebody claiming to be on his team who said that the tins of tuna, essentially he was being passed tins of tuna, obviously. Now, when you open a tin of tuna, there's the sharp edges, isn't there? So it was left in the tin, but the tins were being left in his cell for like 3-4 hours at a time.
They were giving him the opportunity to off himself.
I think so, yeah. Why would you leave somebody in that position? Because what that must do to you mentally, but then also leave them with sharp bits of metal like in their cell for hours at a time.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's awful.
His mental robustness must just be, it must be up there because I don't think I could handle that.
No, I like being on my own. I mean, I've spent lots of time with Ollie. I like any time on my own now, I'd fucking treasure. But like, that's one thing that impressed me.
Small hands come in handy.
Notice how he sat so far back, but he holds his hands so close to the camera
to
create the illusion.
I was impressed with the the address he made when he came out of prison, because I thought, fuck me, if that guy's a person that's literally just started speaking to people. You know, it's like rolling off the place looking like fucking like Castaway, and still
he did look like Tom Hanks,
but he was still on message, and that's what got me. He was still on message, and I think that takes a lot, regardless. Like I said on the podcast a couple of days ago, I think people need to get away from the attitude, and this is definitely a problem of populism. Like, definitely, we need to get away from the idea that we have to like who we vote for. Mm-hmm. That's not the point. Like, if I need like a bricklayer, I don't need to hang out with him a little bit first. You know, I don't need, like, we don't go for a meal together or something like that before he comes and does the work. I just want to know the guy can lay bricks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the thing. And you don't have to agree with everything they say either.
No.
Like, so many people are like, I disagree with this certain policy, so I'm not going to vote for them. It's like, but do you agree with everything else? And is that still better than the alternative?
I find it wild that nobody made a bigger deal when Reform running in the last election, that they were promising to raise the tax bracket. Was it like 25 grand they wanted to put the tax bracket up to? Now,
yeah.
How, in amongst everything else, people didn't think, hang on a second, like, single voter issue, if you're gonna put like essentially 25 grand in my pocket, a year that I'm not getting taxed on, then that's fucking insane. It's just an insane thing. It would have lifted. I worked it out one point, and it would have lifted like the poorest people like out of poverty in the UK, because a huge chunk of people, just like shop workers and bar workers and stuff like that, wouldn't pay tax anymore. But there was so much other stuff that people couldn't get past, like media bias and things like that, to see like genuine policies that would have actually fucking helped them, but helped them as well. They've gone along with the fucking diverse bullshit and hurt themselves, because now we've got another 4 years of whatever Labour is.
Nah, we're going to fix that. We're going to get them out. I know there's a democratic process, and I know that they've won fair and square, but nah, mate, I don't think they're going to last. I don't think they're going to last the 4 years. I genuinely don't. I hope they don't, and I'm working to try and make that a reality. Where I don't want this government anymore, mate. I think Keir Starmer is absolutely evil. We all know he's a WEF puppet.
Do you want to hear my fantasy booking for British politics? And
go on.
I don't think this is. This isn't like somewhere I would say this is absolutely going to happen, but I can see the way forward for it. Sadiq Khan will be stuck into a safe seat to make him an MP. He will take over Labour from Keir Starmer. You will then have Reform will be forced, essentially, probably after the Tommy Robinson marches that are going on. They're going to be forced to get behind Robinson, and they'll probably do the same thing with him, is stick him in a safe seat and get him into politics, make him an MP, for good or bad, because that means he's part of the system then. So you can take that however you want. And the fantasy booking for British politics is you have an election in 4 years' time with a Tommy Robinson-led Reform against a Sadiq Khan-led Labour. And I don't particularly want to see this, because I think that is fucking chaos waiting to happen.
Yeah, I think it is. I think.
See, I liked Rupert Lowe, but yeah, that got messed up.
Yeah.
I honestly pray for these elections, because I think this is the only chance we have. This is the only chance that we have to fix this country. It is.
Mate, what are we gonna do though if it doesn't go to plan? So we've got Reform. Reform are the strongest contender now. Yeah, chances are they're going to win, but a lot can change between now and then if it goes the 4 years. Okay, but what happens if they don't win, or like where do we go from there? What is there? I'm so fearful of of our future as a nation.
There's nothing
now.
I don't think there's nothing if they will win.
I saw the guy who's your guy that does podcast Heretic.
I can't remember his name. He's fantastic though.
Andrew Gold. Andrew Gold.
That's.
I saw him talking.
I'd love to speak to him.
Yeah, so I saw him talking about this, and he was predicting that although things are worrying, it's not quite as dire as the worrying would suggest. He thinks we've got two good stabs at it. The second time it will get increasingly worse without it. But he said realistically, you want to get this. You want Labour out, and you want to get like a Reform in, like in the next election. If it doesn't happen in the next time, there will still be another opportunity in the next election cycle. But if it will be increasingly more difficult to do it, and if it doesn't happen, then it's fucking done. I think that was when he said that's the point where he said people with means will look to leave the UK. People without the means will have to prepare for a civil war.
That's nuts, mate. How many comments do you see? I see it all the time, where people are like, "We need a civil war. That's what we need." And I think you're either retarded or you just don't understand what a civil war actually entails.
Yeah,
like, the
because
amount of people calling for civil war is insane.
yeah, and like the thing is, I know I am fairly useless in the event of that type of thing happening. I'm like I might be okay to lift stuff for other people, but like if I have to fight anybody, I'm pretty fucked. If I have to run at somebody or run away from them, if I run away from them, I'm getting caught. If I run towards them, I'm tired before I get there. Yeah, no, most of the people that say stuff like that have absolutely no ability to deal with what they're asking for. But everybody wants to be the guy, don't they? Like, yeah, we should do this. What are you going to be doing? Oh, well, I'll probably be at home, but there'll be people that'll do it for me.
Yeah. People always say, like, oh, it's us versus them as well. And it's like, what do you mean us versus them? Like, you do understand, like, so if you're looking at, say, for example, the illegal immigrants that are coming over here, these are guys, right? And they're all sort of like fighting age males. But they have lived in like really harsh environments where they've had to fight every day of their lives to get by. In our country, we have a lot of men who, you know, a lot of us are overweight. We're a bit lazy. It's, oh, what's that? You'll know, Lee. You probably won't, Ollie. What's that thing where people say, oh, is it tough times create strong men? Strong men create good times. Good times.
Yeah, hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Something like that.
Yeah. So we've had a good time for a long time. So we are a nation of, a lot of us are, we're weak men. Mate, a lot of men don't even know if that they are a man. Do you know what I mean? That half of them identify as.
I got home after work. I got home after work today, and I realised that I had underheated my hot tub by 2 degrees. I was devastated.
Oh. How does one cope?
It's a weird, crazy story. So my youngest like had like sticker book, and he put in some stickers and stuff, and he put a rainbow on something, and I said,
and this is his book, is it, Ollie?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
No, but
okay. You just help him with it. Okay.
Yeah. I said to my wife, "Where's that come from?" And she went, "Ollie, they don't fucking own the rainbow. Chill the fuck out." I'm like, holy shit, what is wrong with me?
Yeah, look, it's the same with the stuff that you get on. Like I think it's daft, right? I think it's daft having a transformer in the Transformer cartoons. That was fucking.
There's a transformer.
Yeah, there's in the like, I can't remember what type of transformer thing it is. It's something that's on Netflix, and there's a transformer, and there's like a scene on the top of a roof where the transformer's talking to the, like, you know how weirdly every transformer happens to hang around with a little child. The
Transformers, pedo in disguise.
Apart from the fact it wants to try and get the child inside it, but the transformer is explaining to it that, you know, I don't really feel like a boy or a girl. And they're thinking, no, you're a fucking cyborg, you prick. But
fuck is this?
No, but I think that's weird, and I think it's stupid. But on the other hand, if my son accidentally watches that, I don't think he's gonna fucking run around the house looking for a pair of scissors. Do you know what I mean? There's a point where you have to be wary of this stuff because it's fucking wild, but also not be puritanical, because you end up being the fucking rock and roll's the devil's music at that point, and we can't do that. Although it's the same what you were saying before about being too right or too left. There has to be this sweet spot where we can allow things to go on, but I get what Ollie's saying about like the rainbow stuff, and it's sad because like the rainbow flag in itself for such a long time, was like a symbol of solidarity. But you see it now and you go, wow, it's fucking people dressed up as fucking badgers and shit.
Mm-hmm. It's these things are weaponized though, aren't they? like the rainbow, which, like you say, it was like it was such a positive image, and it's been sort of bastardized through everything it's been used for. You look at the British flag, you know, the Union Jack, and it's specifically the English flag, and it's like that's sort of synonymous with like racism now. It's yeah, there are meanings attached to flags and to symbols and stuff, and yeah, it's sad, but
it's wild when you consider that only a few years ago in the sort of mid 2000s, early mid 2000s, like it when like Oasis and stuff was swinging hammer, the Union Jack was a cool thing. You could not move for like. If you went into an upholsterer's shop or something like that, you could not move for Union Jack pillows at one point. And it's somehow that, because I think that was the last feeling of like positive nationalism in the UK died with like that British indie music scene. It's really strange how it's happened.
Well, I think, and this is to put a positive spin on it, because in the last, I'd say, 3 months, I've started to see more and more Union Jacks that are permanently up. You know, just driving around, I've seen them where I've not, I hadn't noticed one for ages, and now I've started to see them. People are flying that flag now. There are more people doing it. So if you've got that flag in the loft and you're listening to this podcast now, get it out, put it up.
I mean,
You're still talking about the flag there, Ollie?
Yeah, just saying, this is all nice, lads. I won't. I've got my own flag, but you know.
Does
So
the
you're
Isle of
wait,
Man,
where
does the
actually
Isle of Man
do
have
you
its
live,
own
Lee?
flag?
I live in the Isle of Man.
Right. And does it have its own? I fucked up with the Isle of Man. I don't know if you noticed, if you saw it anywhere. So loads of people were asking for a strike, which is obviously it's a protest. But they were asking for one in the Isle of Man. But we had like, mate, I swear to God, we must have had about 300 or 400 like messages saying, "Can we have one in the Isle of Man?" So like, yeah, Sam, we'll add it to the location. We got a rep and everything. The rep then went silent, and then no one turned up, and we just got loads. There was a newspaper in the Isle of Man. Basically,
Yeah, well, it's actually
us.
English owned. Yeah, there is a thing in the Isle of Man, like everybody's the Isle of Man's really left, like with lots of people. Lots of people like to pretend they say the nice things. But I again, the Isle of Man tends to be behind the UK in quite a lot of ways. I also think that we have an extortionate cost of living, which is kind of like our invisible barrier to illegal immigration and to excess immigration, because there's no point coming to the Isle of Man apart from the fact it looks quite nice. You might as well go to the UK, where it doesn't cost like £4 for a loaf of bread.
Is that genuinely how much a loaf of bread is?
No, a loaf of bread isn't £4.
Right,
well,
like,
it depends what bread. Yeah, if you get nice bread, you're looking at £3. But this is that's the 3 legs of man. That's our flag.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Why 3 legs?
Because
it feels a bit satanic to me. That like a bit.
There's witchcraft behind it. The Lord of Man, Manannán Mac Lir, lived on a big hill, and he would bring the mists around the island whenever people tried to invade it. And eventually, when he did get invaded and he got overthrown, he morphed into there's some UFO-y sounding stuff behind this. He morphed into 3 legs with flaming like heels on the 3 legs, and rolled down the hill at his adversaries, shouting, "Whichever way you throw me, I will stand." And he's like, 3 legs, keep rolling it.
Unless they chucked him on his side.
Unless he goes on his side, then he's fucked.
And he's fucked. Yeah, he's just on his side, like.
Oh, this would be like a turtle upside down.
So he got really pissed off and he morphed into a mutant drag queen.
Kind of. We can all do it. Like it's just a Manx thing. Like,
I mean,
we can all throw it out if we have to.
It looks like a Silent Hill character. So, Rich, what is on the grapevine then? What's the next move?
So this is rubbish, isn't it? Because I can't really say too much. I promise, yeah. So Monday. I don't know what time on Monday, but I'm seeing everyone tomorrow. We're going to make sure everything's in place. I'm having a lot of talks with people behind the scenes as well. I want to make sure the right people are involved. But essentially, no, I can't say it. I can't. I will let you know. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make you a deal, Ollie.
You'll come back on. You'll come back on the show and tell us.
I'll let you know. Thank you. I'll let you know what phase 2 is before I put the press release out, and we'll do like a little Easter egg type thing. But it's going to be a lot more concentrated. It's going to be a lot more organised. We are getting, mate, I've had so much abuse for this. We're getting donations now. We've got quite a bit of money that's coming. So I can do things like, I can get like stages set up in places and have like speakers come and performers and
that's what you need.
Things like that. Yeah, make like a real event of it, because I'm going on about unity and stuff. But a lot of these places, we had so many people get in touch, and they said, oh, can I set one up for, I don't know, Truro, which I hadn't even heard of, but Truro's a city apparently. But they come forward and you get like 5 people saying, oh, can I be involved? I'll do flyers, I'll do this, that, I'll do the other, and it's like, yep, spot on, right sound, Truro's sorted. Then
just quickly, no one's giving you a plane. No one's giving you a plane.
I don't
get it. Had a jet given. Trump got given a jet and everybody fucking hit the fucking roof on that. But
oh yeah, oh no, nothing like that. No, nothing like that yet.
Plot twist: the jet's Manx.
Oh, is it?
The jet's registered in the Isle of Man, like most jets.
Well, is that like a tax thing? Is it?
Yeah.
Brilliant. But yeah, we had a lot of people come forward saying that they wanted to help, etc. And then they didn't really do what they said they were going to do. So it was a bit of egg on my face, because there were quite a few locations where I thought they were taken care of, and they just weren't. So what I need to do now, and it genuinely it costs money, like you guys know yourselves. It's not, you can't do everything for free. I'm working 60 hours a week, trying to get all this sorted. But essentially in the locations now, I want to have like I say, like stages set up. I want speakers and singers to come along, and so we've got locations set up now. We just need to branch out and work with different people and see what we can get for free, what we've got to pay for, the legalities behind it as well, because we're calling it a protest now. Yeah,
because you made a big deal about not calling it a protest to begin with.
Yeah, so the strike. Did I explain it on the last show about why I called it a strike? Is it worth explaining again, or am I just?
It's worth explaining.
It's definitely worth it. Yeah.
Right. So there were so many reasons. So like, when you use the word protest on social, so the whole protest thing, like especially in the UK now, there's a protest every other day. So when you come out and you're like, I'm going to start a protest, everyone's like, yeah, nice one, mate. You and every other dickhead in the UK, and they just swipe off. So there was the algorithm thing, but then calling it a protest and hold it in every city centre in the UK logistically was like, it was next to impossible, because there's so much red tape and there's so many things you've got to do. So for every protest you hold in the UK, if you're predicting there's more than 500 people there, you've got to have like routes in and out sorted that have got to be approved. It takes months to get approval just for the routes. You've got to risk assess everything. You've got to liaise with the police and the local council, which we do anyway, because like, why wouldn't you? You've got to have like medical teams on standby. Like there's
this is
loads
mental.
that goes into it, mate. Yeah, and then
this
you're
is mental.
essentially...
The idea of protest is like, we're protesting the system, and you're gonna tie it up with red tape. That's not the fucking point of it. The point of a protest is a load of people getting together saying, we're fucking sick of this bullshit. Not someone saying, have you done a risk assessment?
Yeah, it's almost like it's set up to be that way, isn't it? It's like, yeah, it's insane what has to go into it. So, so I was like, well, I'll tell you what, like,
is
the word strike
being back tested.
Yeah, honestly, like genuinely, yeah. Like if you want to set a stage up, like mate, what's got to go into that? Like, first of all, if you want to set a stage up and hold like a protest and have like a bit of an event on, the government and the councils have to approve that. Like, you have a right to protest, but anything you do during that protest, they have to approve. It's mate, it's fucking insane. So I had to use a word that was like, people sort of got the gist of what I was doing, but so essentially, like a strike, there were no unions involved because it wasn't a strike. So on that side of things, they were scratching their heads. They were like, we don't know how to approach this. But then it also wasn't classed as a protest because I was saying you can go to your local city centre and you can hold your strike. So they were all like locally
decentralized, in it.
Yeah. So it was it was a way of me being able to sort of break it up. Essentially, no one would take accountability, and
like open source protesting.
Yeah, it was a way of sort of just like, it was like a little slalom through the legal sort of like sort of obstacles and barriers that they put in your way. But also on top of that, because at first I did shit myself a little bit because everyone was like, it's not a protest, this is ridiculous, blah 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 blah. And then I explained it and people started to like get a hang of it. And then I thought, hold on, this is generating loads of comments. So this is just feeding the algorithm. And then all of a sudden, these videos were getting like 1.6 million views, 1.9 million views. And I thought, yeah, I'm just going to leave it as the strike. I spoke to Dave before I come on the podcast, and we were just chatting away. And I was saying, I'm thinking about changing the name. And he was like, absolutely not. Like, to be fair to Dave, we had a good little chat, and he's such an intelligent man. Such an intelligent man.
Dave's IQ is probably through the roof, yeah.
Mate, honestly, yeah, he was so insightful on something that he wasn't even really part of. And he just had a way of like, he was so pragmatic. And he was like, well, if you do this, what do you think will happen? Right, well, yeah, well, then do this. And I was like, oh, fucking hell, yeah. So, yeah, he helped a lot with that. And so, yeah, I kept it as a strike. Same with like why I did it on a Saturday, people, the amount of hate we got, but it did make perfect sense. Essentially, phase one was a marketing campaign. And sort of halfway through, I sort of come clean about that, and I said to people, "Look, this is a bit of a marketing campaign. This is about getting the word out. It's working." So yeah, it's worked. But now we can go to. We're not going to be doing it in every city centre. I'll tell you that, because it sort of diluted it all, and it's just impossible to get the right amount of people and to get volunteers and get the right people on board. The amount of people that got in touch saying, "Oh, I want to help." And then you dig into them and it's like, oh, hold on, you were at an All Refugees Welcome protest like 2 months ago. It's on your social media. They just wanted to infiltrate. They wanted to like fuck it up from the inside and derail what we were doing. So I was like, trust issues straight away. So I've got now two ladies as part of my team who did the admin, and me. That was it in the end that organised this strike. They're fantastic, that the girls I've got on the team. I'm meeting up with them tomorrow, and then we've got a few sort of like big influencers with like a couple of 100,000 followers each. One of them's got 1.2 million. So I'm meeting them tomorrow. And again, we're just gonna do it ourselves. We're gonna push the advertisement ourselves. GB News. I was on GB News the day before the strike. So I've said I'll give them sort of the inside scoop 24 hours before I do the press release. They'll get it first. But the farmers are on board for phase two. It's going to be called a protest. It's not going to be in as many locations. We're going to sort of get everyone to main cities, if you like, and then put massive events on. But then there's legal paperwork going in as well. I've been told I'm not allowed to say anything, but I'm awful at keeping secrets. There's legal paperwork going in as well, to sort of levy our actions on what we're going to be doing with the farmers, what we're going to be using the farmers for. It is going to affect infrastructure, but you're allowed to do that with agricultural vehicles. Again, it's like a legal thing. There's a bit of a grey area. And we're essentially going to say, like, we're not going to stop doing this until you listen to us. So yeah. Wish me luck, mate. They've come after me in phase one. Phase two is going to be much bigger, I promise you. So if I'm still a free man, I'll come on the show again.
Well, no.
Did you get anything on
out? We've know you're sold out when it turns into the Great British National Bake Off.
Mate, I've had that so much because I said as well, like, bring cakes along. So everyone's like, "Oh, the Great British Bake Off." Like, fuck off. Yeah, no, we had loads of that, mate. We had loads of that. The Great British Bake Off, yeah, mate. The trolling. Like, I laugh now. I took it to heart. I really took it to heart to begin with because I wanted to like please everyone. You know, it's unity, but you're not going to please everyone. So
no.
So
did you get anything that day?
Say again, sorry.
Did you get anything that day personally So when you on the day on the it was the 26th, wasn't it?
It was 24. Do you mean
24th,
like
sorry, 24th. Yeah,
No, it's all
sorry.
right. Do you mean like sorry?
I've had a wine.
Yeah, no, same mate. Do you mean like as in like sort of like hate or like sort of counter protesting that
Yeah,
sort of thing?
you personally, did you witness anything that day? Did anybody go after you?
Not me personally on the. But it was really strange because we had Antifa turn up. I think they were in 16 locations overall. Mate, they're so well organised. Like they rocked up. They had the media there.
George Soros doesn't employ fools.
No, mate. Honestly, like these guys are fucking funded. They come ready. Like they are organised. Fair dues.
Joe, the other thing you never see a used Antifa flag.
No, they were, and this is the thing. So in all the locations, right, and these are just regular people turning up. They organised it in like a week. This counter protest. All their signs were like perfect. Now I tried to get these, like the picket signs, like the big ones. Mate, they're like £120 each. These signs on the big sticks, because I tried to get them on the store and they were just too expensive. But they all turned up, and in every city, they've got the exact same signs. But one of them was stand up to racism, one of them was Antifa, and then there was another one all refugees welcome. So they're separate groups, but they all had the exact same like signs, and it was just they're so well organised. One guy turned up, he was on crutches, and he just screamed Nazi at me for like an hour. So I had a pound and a headache by the time I went home. But I was in Chester. I was very public about the fact I was in Chester, and none of them turned up. It was just one guy on crutches shouting Nazi at me for like an hour and a half.
Did you see the young RAF guy?
Mate, I'm trying to find him.
What a guy!
He's going to be in shit.
What a boy!
He's going to be in shit. He's going to be in so much trouble when his chain of command see that. He's going to be in so much trouble.
Yeah, he yelled out his number as well, didn't he?
Yeah, well, that was the thing. It was he's fucked if his chain of command see that, which I imagine they will if they haven't already.
They should be fucking proud. They should be fucking proud.
Yeah, mate, 100%. I want him to come to like one of our main locations, and yeah, mate, I thought it was unreal. Yeah, I've got so much admiration for young lads like that who, against all everything that's stacked against us in terms of suppression of free speech. We've got young lads now who are speaking up. I think it's amazing.
Well, it's got to be. I've often thought this, because right now, you have like the establishment thing, especially when you look at like school and university systems and stuff. We do have the same issue, I think, as America have with this sort of far leftist like indoctrination units for people.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what people forget sometimes, and including them, is that it is the duty of youth to book whatever system is put in front of them. And it's always happened, and it's a fucking loop. You won't change that loop. All the indoctrination in the world will not stop a 20-year-old thinking, or even younger, let's say 16-year-old. All the indoctrination in the world will not stop a 16-year-old looking at a 35-year-old like a fucking dinosaur. And I think that's the turn you're starting to see now. You're starting to see that dial click over, where these people that were the cool, hip, trendy, like 16, 17, 18-year-old progressive leftists are now 35, 36, 40 years old. But they're still in the mold of like, we're on top, we're current, but they're going to be looked at by the next generation of people that will usurp that and turn it over. I've always been worried, like the rise of the far left. I mean, I said this on podcasts like fucking best part of a decade ago now. I've always been more worried by the answer from the right than I am actually worried about the left. And by that I mean if you get a real far left push, then the answer to that from the far right, because the far right will gather the right with it as it pushes back, will be fucking monumental.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
I think
know
we're on
when
the
I want to
cusp of-
see you go? No, sorry, go on.
No, go
Finish
on,
your
you
thought.
go on.
No, finish your thought, mate. Finish your thought. I'll come back to that.
How close do you think we are to getting to that point now where, because the right are so angry, but they've been given their voice back, and the left are mate, some of these people that, like, some of the footage I've seen, like especially the Antifa lot and similar, that turning up, that they're almost like possessed, like the amount of anger they've got. But the right are there as well. They're not. The right was suppressed for so long and told, you can't think that, you can't say that, and people just sort of went along with it. But people are getting the voices back now. I think we're really sort of. I was going to ask you, like,
I think
how
you need
close
the
do you
middle
think
class.
we actually are to it kicking off?
I think you need the middle class. I think the change only happens when the middle class become uncomfortable. Because that's I don't think it's a accident. Like I'm a big one for predictive programming, and it's stuff I didn't think of years ago. But even going back to like early 2000s, with programs like Shameless and stuff like that, and how we've been trained to look at council estates, and how we've been trained to look at the people like that have to live on benefits and stuff like that. We've been told for fucking years these are scumbags, and not, to be perfectly honest, not for the majority of times reasonably decent people with something that I don't think any other society in Great Britain has, which is strong fucking bonds in like areas. Like council estates still talk to the neighbours. Like now and again, like the middle class people go home in their Audis, get out of their Audis, go in their door and speak to their families. They don't bother with who's around them.
No.
I think as soon as financially the government start to squeeze that middle class, that's when people are going to go, oh, hang on a second, they were right all along. Shit.
That's a really good point. I never thought of that.
It's one thing Dave's
That's a really
always
good
said.
point.
Speak to your neighbour, bond with your neighbour, and it's something that I've really started. I've moved house, and this street, I have started to bond more with my neighbours around. I mean, to be fair,
I bet they're fucking made up, Ollie.
They fucking love me. Yeah. No, to be fair, my little boys play with two little boys same age, so it's great. But yeah, I do think that if you see your neighbour every day and you don't speak to your neighbour, that eventually, when you need somebody there for you, or you need somebody there for your country, if we don't have that bond together, that unity, the way even the fucking fact that you can keep an eye on your street and make sure it's safe. Like, what is it, neighborhood watch and all that jazz. I think you need that.
Counterpoint. If you become friends with your neighbours, it makes it harder in the event of an emergency to go in your loft, knock some bricks through. If you're not in a completely detached house, go into your neighbour's house, kill them, and take all their stuff.
Arguably, I think it'd be easier to kill them.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've got some food for you.
No, morally, because you're going to feel bad about that. Like, I could kill my neighbour tomorrow.
You did.
I could have killed my neighbour yesterday.
We just stumbled into a confessional.
She's fine. She barely goes out. Nobody should check.
I'll tell you where I'd like to see you, Rich, and this was what I was going to say. I'd like to see you on LBC speaking to that twat with the big lug, James O'Brien.
You can't say the C word on here, can you? Can you?
Yes.
You can.
Yes,
It's not got the impact now because I'm like, oh, can you say it?
Yeah.
It's not got the impact, but what a cunt. What an absolute cunt. I just can't stand the bloke. I cannot stand the bloke at all.
I think he's the most divisive person in the UK.
Yeah.
Certainly
and it's
in media.
That sort of like, and it's that sort of like, what's the word I'm looking for? He sort of like self-aggrandizes and he puts himself on this sort of pedestal, and it's people like that are causing the division. 100%.
Let's face it, he's the biggest cunt in media, and we've got James Corden.
It's Lee, for our American audience, which is massive. Who's the James O'Brien the equivalent of it in America? I can't even Fucking
Don Lemon? Probably. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I don't think I've seen any Don Lemon. Do you know what? There's one person, who's potentially worse than O'Brien, and I think it's Piers Morgan.
Yeah, you see.
Fucking
Do you
stand
know what the thing about Piers? Do you know what the thing about O'Brien is? At least he's a consistent twat. He's a consistent far leftist asshole. Like.
At least he's sticking to his guns. Like you can sort of have some sort of respect for that. But Piers Morgan,
sorry, Ollie fucking fancies. Ollie fancies Piers Morgan.
I don't know. I like listening to the drama of the show because I like a bit of drama in my life. That's like
because you're still one of those. You're still one of those twats, Ollie. You twat.
No,
you're still what?
No, I do think.
Wait,
Piers
twat.
Morgan's a twat.
Wait. You're still one of those twats that rings me up. You can't lie because you're speaking to me about it, going, yeah, but he's got a point, hasn't he? And to which I replied to you the other day saying, Ollie, did he have a point, like, round about the same time that you were hospitalised, that you shouldn't have got medical treatment because you're unvaccinated? Did he have a point then?
I see the point. all I'm saying is I like to tune in every now and again. It doesn't mean to say I like him.
Yeah, but you feed the beast doing that.
He could literally come up with a cure for cancer tomorrow, right? And I simply wouldn't be able to get past the fact that he hacked a dead girl's phone. The guy's just he's
also Rupert Murdoch's lapdog. No, like there's no fucking way that anybody that is taken under the wing by Rupert Murdoch as being like his understudy, essentially, can be anything but a fucking asshole. And he blocked me on Twitter. He did.
What for? What did you say? Or was it just a collection of things?
I asked him whether he had a good time on the island with Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein.
See, now, if that didn't bother him, he wouldn't have blocked you. He'd just ignored it.
He would have thought so. Yeah. There's enough pictures of him and fucking Ghislaine as well. Big friends with Maxwell too, wasn't he?
What do you think of that, though? Because if you're mixing in those sort of circles, like you're going to bump into people and you're going to get photos with them, aren't you? Yeah,
but the difference is, I don't think, if I'm honest, I don't think Morgan's ever been to Epstein Island. Do you know what's worse about it? Is I think he was fucking desperate too. He is just that sort of pole crawling, fucking slimy asshole. And he doesn't matter what he has to do. Like he could fucking suck the adrenochrome out of fucking 7-8-year-olds, but he wants to be in with those people.
Yeah.
He wants to be in with the in crowd, and he would do anything to do it. And you can tell he'll do anything to do it because he'll change his opinion like that.
Yeah, he does it all the time. He does. Yeah, he was definitely that kid who, you know that guy, like the really unpopular guy that used to me in high school, who used to turn up at the parties and be like, "Hi everyone," and you just end up getting fucking wedged and sent home. That's Piers Morgan when it comes to the island. 100%.
You go on and debate him though, wouldn't you?
No. So I'll be honest with you. Yeah. So
you're telling me Piers Morgan says, "Listen, come
be
on
a trap, Ollie. It would be a trap."
Mate, he'd shout at me for 20 minutes straight. Every time I went to say something, he'd shout at me. He'd just shout me down. He'd make me look like a fucking moron. He's got teleprompters. He's got people talking in his ear.
I have an idea.
He's a professional.
I've got an idea.
He's a professional at it.
Right, if he invites you on, you hide me under your red jumper.
Fuck you. Take me.
You wouldn't get under his red jumper.
I wouldn't get under the jumper, but if we could get me in, Ollie, it'd be more use. But no, like it's. I think that's the thing. You know, this whole thing of like going into the lion's den and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. When you've already got it, that would work in like a just society where everything was leveled, you know, and like it was a case of like, I'm going to go over here to speak to these good gentlemen that have different ideas to me, and we're going to debate it. But that's not the way it is. It's it's already rigged, and you have to fight to get people to notice you anyway. And we live in the world of the clip. We live in the world where a 10-second video snippet can fucking end people.
Yeah. Mate, I've been invited onto quite a few shows. So obviously I did GB News the day before. They invited me to go down to the studio and all the rest of it. And I was like, no, I'll do a Zoom call, thank you. Because as soon as you go into that, mate, they've got the professional hair, makeup. They've been told how to sit, how to look at the camera. They've been told how to speak. They've had all the media training. They've got the help me out, boys. I've had a glass of wine. They've got the teleprompters there. They've got people speaking in their ears. I rock up, and I could be really, I completely, I know what I want to say, and I fall over my words all the time. I'm not media trained. I'm not a professional.
No.
So if I turn up it's their arena at the end of the day. You say one wrong thing, and whatever movement you're trying to push, whether your intentions are pure, which mine absolutely are, I know what I want to achieve. They could pick me apart in minutes, mate, and just make me look like an absolute fool.
I don't think people understand how. I don't think people understand that either when they see people. You've got to remember, like, professional TV people. Doesn't matter whether you're a sports commentator or whether you're a newsreader or something like that. You've developed that skill, and I've no idea how people do it. Where you can have somebody having a conversation in your ear, telling you what's going on, whilst having a face-to-face conversation with somebody else. And holding those two conversations in your head, that's fucking witchcraft to me.
Yeah.
So the idea, no, it's not normal, and it's but what it must be is, God, that must be such fucking like brain exercise. That's why these people will go and do something. Even like a Gary Lineker. I think Gary Lineker's a fucking asshole. I'm so happy he's being sacked. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
But
fuck him.
But even that, like, the reason he can hold himself like so well and speak so well is because he's developed these skills. Because he's a professional talker. I've apparently played football before that, but you know what I mean. Like, he has developed these muscles. It's in the same way as you don't shit talk a comedian. It's their job. It's their job to rip you apart if you happen to.
Yeah, 100%. But with these like TV presenters, you're assuming that they're really intelligent, but maybe actually it's the exact opposite. Maybe they're not even listening to the guests that sat in front of them. They're literally just listening to the earpiece, and they're just saying what they've been told to say. Yeah, they're fucking. It's like celebrities, isn't it? They're all fucking morons, mate.
Yeah. No. I think that's a fair point. I would. As much as I fucking despise giving him any credit, I think Morgan's probably quite an intelligent bloke. Same as I think fucking big ear. What's his name? O'Brien. I think O'Brien's probably quite an intelligent guy as well. It's just that but those people have got what I fucking lack, which is the ability to withhold vast quantities of information, which is also like ready to go, and that's almost fucking unbeatable. Doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. If you can't recall and explain like really quickly why you're right, you might as well go home.
Yeah.
Do you worry about like an Andrew Tate situation? And this is not me saying that you're like Andrew Tate or anything like that, but like you look at like what they did when they stood up and they did the whole masculine thing, like said, be proud of being masculine, this, that, and the other. You're standing up for your country. Arguably, I'd say that's a bigger deal, what you're doing with the country. Do you worry? What I mean, you think they've done shit with your phone?
Mm-hmm.
Do you worry that something that they could do something?
Yeah, do you know what, mate? So genuinely, I'm not that worried about myself. It's more my family, which naturally, like as a family man, that's going to be the case. I don't want to seem like I'm coming across as arrogant or anything. I've got such a boring past, okay? I was arrested once for I fell into a shop window and I was pissed and broke the window and I paid a £250 fine. And I got drunk in the army once, and I had to pay a fine for that. But I've got such a boring past, so there's nothing they could actually throw at me legitimately. What does worry me is the way they are able to fabricate things, and like I know I'm completely clean, but as a conspiracy theorist as well, like you hear stories of them putting things on your laptop, putting things on your phone, so that worries me a little bit. But what's the alternative, mate? To just sit silent and do nothing. I can't do it anymore. I can't. I just can't. So I'm not really worried about me.
I think I know you explained this on the last on the last show you came on. What made you do this to begin with? What was the moment you said enough's enough?
It was lying awake at night. Like I'm not sleeping now. I'm getting like 3 hours sleep a night max if I'm lucky at the minute, and that's been the case for like 3 months. But I'd much rather that because I'm doing something. I used to lie awake at night, mate. Just illegal immigration, the things that they're doing with net zero, the attacks on like our farmers and inheritance tax, the rape gangs, just everything that's going on, mate. And again, as a conspiracy theorist, thinking, well, why the WEF and the WH, BlackRock with Bill Gates, they're buying up all the farmland, and maybe that's why they're getting all the immigrants in. And you start and you just sit there just thinking about it, and then you start thinking, well, why is no one doing anything? No one's actually standing up. You get these Andrew Tates and your Katie Hopkinses and all the rest of it. They're not actually doing anything. They're spouting off, and they're talking about the issues that we have, but they're not offering solutions. Why? So it was just. I just thought to myself, I might as well do something. I'm lying awake every night, not sleeping anyway. And yeah, mate, I'm just so scared. Like, you've got kids as well, haven't you? Like, what are they going to be inheriting down the line? It's so scary, mate. So yeah, for me, it was just, I had to do something. I had to do something, and more people need to do something.
I suppose those people, like you say, like the Katie Hopkinses, the Lawrence Foxes and stuff, they're at least megaphones. Even if they're not offering solutions, they are they're getting people on side. Do you know what I mean? The more they're going around, and it's one of those things, isn't it? It's like the people need to get into the heads that they don't have to like who they vote for. They need to vote for who they think is going to provide the best future. If someone's earning money from something, that will have a positive that could have a positive effect on your life and the positive effect on like your surroundings where they go. I just think let them earn it. Do you know what I mean? Just like if that's if what they're doing is a net positive, even if there is a bit of a grift going on, then the net positive is still there. Otherwise, I think you get too frustrated, and then it just becomes like this backbiting thing where, it used to be the case of like the left always eats its own. I think you can see that in the States quite like with the right a little bit now as well.
You say at least they're a megaphone. I agree with you, but I also disagree with you because yes, they're a megaphone. I get that, but when you're constantly saying things that are going to anger a lot of people and rile people up without offering a solution, are you not just also fanning the flame a little bit as well?
Maybe.
I get what you're saying, and it's great that people, like Katie Hopkins and all the rest of it are, she does like a batshit bonkers Britain, in today's news, blah 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 blah. And then you go through the comments, and people are beside themselves with like worry, and people are angry and all the rest of it. So to me, it's like, it's great, yeah, raise awareness, but at the same time, you're riling people up, and you're not offering.
Do you think it fixes without that though?
Say again, sorry.
Do you think it gets fixed without that? It's like no revolution has ever been started by comfortable people.
I just think these people who spend so much of their time making these videos, getting these audiences, they've got millions of followers.
Provocateurs in every sense of the word.
Could you not all just get together and say, right, okay, do you know what? Lawrence Fox, Katie Hopkins, Tommy Robinson, all the rest of them say, right, let's sit down and let's come up with a plan, because we have got tens of millions of followers in the UK, like a good chunk of the UK population. Let's get together and let's actually do something. But they just sort of do their own thing. And I get, like, Katie Hopkins, for example, the shit she's been through.
I do agree with you. Definitely.
That's what I want to do. I mean, obviously, I get it, mate. Do you know what I mean? I only started a couple of months ago. I'm still a nobody. I've got a couple of 100,000 followers, which in the grand scheme of things is nothing. Okay. But I'm going to keep pushing.
Still don't downplay it, man.
I'm going
to keep big.
Well, I'm still going to keep. I'm still going to keep trying to get in touch with these people and say, look, I know in the past, I did knock a few people back because I thought they were just grifting, maybe stupidly. But I'm going to try putting the idea to people and just say, look, let's all just get together. Let's just we all think the same things. Let's get together. Let's actually do something about it. Why are we not doing something? That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do something. But so many people, like I say, it's just, I don't know if I'm stuck in a bit of a rut at the minute because I'm trying to create change, and I don't feel there are enough people trying to. I would love it, mate, if somebody else come out and said, I'm going to make a great British national unity. Oh my God, I should have called it that. I'm going to create the great British national unity, right? And it's someone else, and they come out and they get like 1 million followers overnight. Brilliant. And they're gonna start doing stuff and holding events, and brilliant. We need more people doing that. That's genuinely. I think that's where our power is when we start coming. Don't get too excited, Ollie, but when we all start coming together.
Well, I'm tickling. Do you think we've got that? We get into that moment, that American moment that you've got, where you are going to see a huge change at some point in the next few years. Do you feel like that there is that turning point with people, or do you feel like people are that far gone that they're just gonna go, you know what, I like what I know, and I'll just stick with this side because, you know, it's things aren't too bad. I don't get to see the shit that's going on over here, so I think they're probably right. They are a bunch of Nazis. Or do you think there is going to be a turning point?
I think there is, but I think it's going to be far slower. In America, it seems to just, once Trump was elected, it just sort of changed overnight. I think in the UK, we're far more reserved. America's very sort of, it's just how they are, mate. I mean, America was founded by essentially people who, how was it Dave put it? They were like, not reprobates. What did he call it? He called them something on a show. They've got that sort of fire, that passion, that, you know, America. Whereas us British people, we're far more sort of sedate and just. So I think it's going to happen, but I think it's going to be far slower.
I've tried to say to Dave before about that the, I think one of the reasons we're a bit like that in the UK is that, like, I'm not against like multiculturalism in the sense of the word, because I still believe that when I think back to like my childhood and adolescence, it was the prime example of how multiculturalism works. Where we are now is because it's been taken apart from the inside, and that's it's the Douglas Murray quote. The Douglas Murray quote is, everyone says, right, diversity is our strength, right? But how much diversity? How much diversity before it stops being your strength and it starts being detrimental? And no one ever had that conversation. We need immigration. Okay, awesome. How much? No one ever had that conversation. Yeah, I think that's why we're reserved, because we've seen it work. We've seen it work where it doesn't kind of matter. I still say 2008, we had everything nailed. Everything was fucking like almost
literally right before the collapse. It was
like the gender pay equality, all that sort of stuff. Like fucking nobody cared if anyone was fucking gay or whatever it was. The racism was, you had that sweet spot where we could still joke about racism, but it didn't really fucking matter. Like the idea of colorblindness was pushed pretty fucking strong. Now that's the most racist thing you can be. And I think that's why. I think that's why we're reserved, because, and maybe it can't, like, maybe multiculturalism has gone so far in the UK that it can't work. but I think there's still maybe the people like me will look like aging hippies at one point. We're going, oh well, I remember the day where when people didn't just fucking, I don't know, throw things at each other because they were different colors. But it's I still look back at that time as being the best time that I was alive. And that's the future I want for my son, was the teens and 20s that I had. That felt fucking awesome.
I think I was a bit younger than you, Lee, at the time in 2008, and I remember the internet sort of came about, and it was, you could sort of get it on your phone, but it wasn't like it is now.
No.
So I think we were possibly blind to a lot of things. We just weren't aware.
Maybe there just wasn't enough information. Maybe
it just wasn't as easy to come by. But also this multiculturalism,
like porn.
Mate, I remember. So I don't even know. I remember
amazing porn.
Yeah, like we had dial-up internet, like that one. And I remember having to print off. I got a picture of a naked lady, and I printed it off on A4 paper, and it was and it was coming out the printer, and it was like, and it was back in the days when your PC was like in the living room. Well, ours was in the.
Oh my god! I see a nipple.
And I remember my mum walking through, and she's like talking to me, and the paper's like coming out the printer, and there's this naked lady. I got away with it. I don't know how she didn't look. She didn't even ask what it was I was printing off. And I cherished that piece of paper on that A4 for months. Like you can't even imagine the state it was in by the time I had to like get rid of it and get a new one. Don't know where I'm going with this, but the internet wasn't what it is now. Okay, now we didn't have the information, but also multiculturalism. Okay, we're being told that like diversity is our strength, which is a complete lie, because it's not. Unity is our strength. Now, unity can be part of, or multiculturalism can be part of unity, but being part of unity means like essentially pulling your weight where you can. Multiculturalism isn't spending £8 million a day on hotels for illegals. It's not spending £16 last year alone just in foreign aid. It's not £7.5 billion. So last year we spent £7.5 billion on universal credit for immigrants. Like, if they're coming here, they should have something to offer.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we paying benefits to people who have come here and then now they can't work? It's like, you need to come here with something to offer. You need to have a net positive effect on the country. And as harsh as it might sound to a lot of people, if you can't do that, then you're not welcome here. And that's the line I think we need to take, because at what point do you say, do you know what? This can't be a free-for-all. Yes, in an ideal world, it would be lovely to say, oh, everyone come in, we'll look after you all, blah, blah. But it's not doable. It's just not, it's not doable.
Not from a small island as well, and that's the thing to remember about the UK. It's a small place.
What pisses me off with these people. All refugees welcome. It's like, you can't hold out a glass of water, right, and say all water welcome. Like, it's going to get to a point where it overflows. Okay, that's a terrible analogy.
Not true. Good analogy.
It's people just aren't fucking thinking about it. And this whole like, oh, you're against multiculturalism. No. Multiculturalism is fantastic. Like, the UK has been built on multiculturalism. We're all mongrels. Okay, we've all come from somewhere. But multiculturalism isn't opening the gates, allowing absolutely everybody to come in, usually fighting age males if you're looking down the illegal route. But even the legal route, mate, literally I know Labour say they're going to be clamping down on it. I'll believe it when I see it. But opening the gates and allowing anyone to come in, and then once they're here, it's like, oh, bring your family. What are you planning on doing for work? Oh, I can't. I'm disabled. Okay, well, what's wrong with you? I've got fibromyalgia. I've got mental health issues. Brilliant. Now we're stuck with them because of the ECHR, because they have a right to a family life. They have a right to medical care, education, all the rest of it. So we're stuck with them, and now we're footing the bill. That's not multiculturalism. That's us being absolutely taking the fucking piss out of. That's all that is. And yeah, a lot of people have called me racist online. They've called me a Nazi and stuff for saying these sort of things. But I stand by it. It's surely that's just common sense. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But surely
I have a perfect clip to kind of back this up, and this is from GB News, and it's Patrick, and he's interviewing an immigrant that wants to come to.
Yes, fantastic clip.
You want to come to England?
Yeah.
Why?
Because here I don't have home.
Do you think that they give you money in England?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, but I think they are give me England. They are give me money. You can help me anything. I can need it. Maybe you help me.
So can I ask, why should the people of Great Britain give you a house and money?
Because I don't know.
Because we have a lot of people in Great Britain who need money and need a house.
Yeah.
Why should English people pay for you to have a house?
Maybe they give me house. They give me anything I can need. They give me.
Just give it.
Yeah.
Why?
Because people in England is perfect.
Oh, so you think we're all rich people,
Yeah.
so we can give? Okay. Yeah. Can I tell you something?
Okay.
We are not all rich people. If I said to you, look, we don't have enough houses in England, would that stop you coming to England?
Okay. Maybe I come back in my country and I change in another country after.
Yeah, maybe you try another country if you realise that we can't afford England. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I wanted to play that because
you're racist.
Yeah, because I'm a massive fucking racist.
The guy just wants to come here and live and have a house for free.
There's an interesting question there, though. When he said, what if I told you this? He said, well, maybe I'd try a different country. So who's pushing this? It sounds to me like somebody's pushing England. Because that guy, he seemed like a really nice guy as well. He seemed like a lovely guy. And, he said, well, because he had that perception that England's fucking rich.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's politics. The whole thing's politics. Because if you were in a dire situation and you saw no prosperity and no future in your own country, and there was a path of least resistance to a better life, you would absolutely do it. So that's the only way this changes, is if the path of least resistance is closed off.
Just don't offer them all the shit that we're offering them. Mm-hmm. Just make it unattractive. Like I've said about leaving the ECHR and stuff, which has got a lot of people's backs up. But I'm actually starting to think you wouldn't even need to do that. You just need to create an environment in the UK where you say, okay, well, if you come here, we're literally going to stop you. You'll get a tent. Okay, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? I know it's not doable. You've got to feed them. You've got to give them medical care and all the rest of it. But they get such an attractive package here. They don't get it in France. They're not coming from these countries. They're coming from France. That's the reality. And France isn't as attractive, so they think, maybe I'll go to the UK. Mm-hmm. That's what's happening. I love Patrick. He follows me on X, by the way. I love his comedic timing, by the way, because he does that in a very serious way. But like the way he was, I just thought it was fantastic.
I like him.
It was unbelievable. It was so good. But yeah, we're just too attractive.
Do you think though? Because what it seemed there for me, because obviously we're on a conspiracy podcast. It seems like there is some. Call it an elite hand that is pushing
Absolutely is.
this.
Because somebody is paying the boat people to bring people over. Those tickets aren't cheap. Do you know what I mean? To get yourself in one of those dinghies, to get yourself in one of the vans which ship people up through Europe. These are all businesses that people are in essentially human trafficking, which used to be a buzzword until you talk about it in this sense. Someone's footing the bill for that. That's when, if you want to talk conspiracies, That's when we look at the World Economic Forum. That's when we look at the idea that these Europe is being flooded with immigrants to destabilize it, so we can fucking rebuild it in a different image. I don't know. But there's something behind this other than just like natural, like forced migration.
Mm-hmm.
If you can
It's
have
so hard to
something
put
that's
your finger
natural
on
and
it, isn't it? Because a lot of people say like, oh, it's because they're trying to import voters, which, okay, potentially, but then there's the fact that so I think it was 2001, we were averaging 2.7 children per household, and now it's 1.3. So we have now, at this time next year, we will have more pensioners than babies. We'll have more people drawing a pension in the UK than we'll have babies being born.
Yeah, we're under replacement rate, aren't we? Under replacement rate.
Like, so if I were the government and I was having pressure being put on me by essentially the people who are actually in charge, the people with the money, the big businesses, you know, your BlackRock, your Bill Gates, WF, WHO, and all, I'd be saying, well, actually, we need people to be paying taxes at some point in the future. I fully understand that at the moment, the way our population rate's going, we're going to have more people on drawing a pension than we'll have working in the UK.
Yeah,
at some point there's going to come that tipping point.
Insane. It's unsustainable, and it's not just unsustainable. It's quickly unsustainable.
Yeah, it snowballs so quickly. Like you know yourself, it's. So I don't know what the solution to that is. I know Elon Musk says AI.
Make Britain fuck again. Make Britain fuck again.
Yeah, try. Yeah, have more if you can have more kids. But they've created now. Mate, you should fucking copyright that. They've created a sort of an environment now where it's me and my wife. We'd love to have another kid. We've got a son. We'd love to have more kids. You know what I mean? I'd love to have just little me's running everywhere and just creating offspring and when they're old enough. And it's not doable now. It's so expensive.
That's the thing. That's the thing you've got to think about, because, like, my wife, we've got two, and we've got two little boys, and she really wants a little girl. I'm like, it's probably gonna be a boy. You do know that, but I'm game. But the thing is, that's the thing you have to think about is when you bring another child into the UK, is it going to be unfair for your other two or your other one, because you're not going to be able to give he or she the life that they might be able to have, because you're financially bankrupting yourself by looking after another one. And I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I don't think it's that people don't want to have more kids. It's people probably can't afford to have more kids. Unless you want to claim every benefit under the sun. And there are a lot of people with huge morals in the UK that just won't do that, and they'll be like, I'm not gonna take all the benefits, so I can only have one child, and I'll work this job that fucking kills me. And that's the. But if you don't work, you can have as many as you like. It's just not. It's not fucking fair.
There's loads of things. There's like the medical side as well. So like polycystic ovary syndrome has gone up 3 times since 2003. Like it's 3 times the rate it was in 2000. The screening is exactly the same. But like with polycystic ovary syndrome, like your chances of conception are like next to 0 if it's bad enough.
Did something
like
happen
hormonal issues
before that date?
I don't know. I don't know. I know it's gone up rapidly since COVID. It's gone up rapidly. Like reproduction rate since then, for medical reasons, has just dropped off. Like hormone levels in women are just all out of whack. In men as well. I think our sperm count is so it was I want to say 72 million per milligram. I'm going to fuck this up now. Essentially, it's dropped 2/3 since like 1970. The male sperm count. It's as an average globally. It's insane. Like our sperm counts are dropping rapidly. Things like polycystic ovary syndrome, hormone levels in women are all completely out of whack.
I wonder
Predominantly
if
in
we're
the
just
West,
a
actually.
species. I wonder if what we don't realize is we're just a species that's in decline. Like, is this is this what the beginning of the extinction of man looks like?
It's strange though, because again, it's predominant. I said globally. I'm completely wrong. It's predominantly in the West that this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Is it diet, lifestyle, modern medicine?
Technology?
It's probably technology. It's probably a mixture of all
Cocktail.
those things.
Yeah.
So you can sort of not understand why governments are bringing people in from outside sort of the Western world, but I think it's definitely a driving factor.
I do have the solution though, and
Go on.
I think you're the man to fucking headhunt it. The Great British National Cream Pie.
Yes, we need to push this. Right, send me that. We're gonna get this sorted. Yeah, the Great British National Cream Pie, mate. I love it. We should do that.
Well, I think it's only fitting to end with something that I find really quite refreshing and also hilarious. I don't know if you've seen the I don't want to call her old, but she's older than me. The elder lady that had a go at Keir Starmer. I think it was yesterday. Have you seen this, Rich?
I've not seen this.
Oh my God. This is beautiful. Let's bring this on. Here we go.
I was witch hunted in the most vicious way I've ever seen in my lifetime. And I've been a member of the Labour Party for a long, long time. You have absolutely said you had 10 pledges, you were going to carry on the Corbyn legacy. And ever since, you've done nothing but distance yourself from the ideas which tens of thousands of people joined the Labour Party.
Just pause it for a second,
to support. And all you've done.
To be fair, I think he has carried on the Corbyn legacy. I think he's exactly what you would have had with the Jeremy Corbyn government. Carry on, sorry.
Is feed into the Tory ideology of not supporting strikes, of carrying on with the privatisation of our health service. You're doing everything to feed into a Tory victory. Because we may as well have a Tory if we have a person like you who lies to the party, with dishonesty.
Thank you very much.
And our health service is going right down the pan. And you have a big responsibility, the working class people of this country.
Can you move back, please?
Excuse me. You're just, don't be getting physical.
No, I'm not touching you. Can you move back then, please?
You're touching my breast.
Can you move back, please?
Now move back.
No, can you?
It's touching my breast.
My favourite was the
right.
bar owner during COVID,
Yes.
the guy that threw him out of the pub. Fucking, he's the guy.
Yes,
He's the one. It's the fact that they were manhandling him in his own pub. Like,
Yeah.
Do you know what really winds me up with that? That's the first time I've seen it, right? But one of the things that really winds me up with that is that she's talking to him and she's reeling off the problems that she's sort of echoing the opinions of 90% of the UK, really.
Mhm.
And he didn't even have the common courtesy say, no, it's all right, please, let her speak, and actually look her in the eye.
Yes,
he looked guilty.
Yeah, thank you for that, Rich, because for the podcast, for the listeners, Keir Starmer just sat there like a fucking lettuce.
Scolded child.
Like
he looked like a
being told
scolded
off.
child. Yeah.
The
only problem I would
say
say is the fact that she turned around and she said you were supposed to carry on the legacy of Corbyn. It's fuckers like that bitch, which is why we're in this
Yeah, but she doesn't understand that, does she? She doesn't.
Of course she does. Of course she does.
Stupidity is never an excuse.
Yeah, no, of course she's like I've been a Labour supporter for years, and then when she says you were supposed to carry on the legacy of Corbyn, that means that she was a Labour supporter in what fucking fucked the party up. Like this 90, you can't give just because she's saying the right thing now. Doesn't mean she's saying the right thing for the right. She's saying the right thing for the right reasons. still a fuckwit, would still, like, the next left-wing government that comes along, she's still going to fucking vote for it. She'll probably still vote Labour in 4 years' time. Because she kept saying, we might as well have a Tory in, which suggests, regardless of what the policies were, she would never vote Tory anyway. And it's those like vote this no matter who it is, because it's all about keeping the opposition out. They're fucking just as culpable as the fucking politicians.
And it's people like that as well. So at the moment, I've said that I support reform. They're the least worst option at the moment. That's what I think.
Yes.
However, right, I'm not going to rule anyone else out. So say, for example, if the Conservatives, in a year's time, 2 years' time, I think Kemi's quite weak, they might come out and they say, right, we're going to do this, this, this. I'll look through it and I'll go, do you know what, that makes perfect fucking sense. That's what I want. I wouldn't be like, but I'm still going to stay with reform. No. If people have this, like, they treat political parties like football clubs. It's like, well, I've chosen my party and that's it. It's retarded. I don't understand why people do it.
No,
it's idiotic. It's like
it should be going into a shop, looking at the menus and going, what's the best deal? What's your menu? Who's got the best menu? I'm going to vote for that menu.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Greens would have a load of fucking tofu on it and fucking mung beans, and you don't want that. At least Reform would have a steak on there. But lads, I feel this is a good time to pull the plug on this. Before we,
can I say the line?
What?
Sorry.
Oh yeah. You can say the line. Yeah, just let me plug our wares. You can go and sign up to the Patreon. The live hangout is going to be this Saturday, 10 UK time, and it is a time in whatever country you happen to be in. You can just sign up for $5.99. You'll get all our episodes ad free. You'll get videos to those episodes. Please give us a 5-star review on Spotify. If you're listening to this and it has come through on time on Apple, we have had like a fucking load of trouble with our episodes being like uploading on time. Like I keep getting messages off you saying, "Oh, well, no podcast today." And I think, well, we've had fucking thousands of downloads, so how haven't you got it? And then when I look at the, when I look at where they're coming from, they're all coming from Spotify. I'm like, oh, right, okay, there's no Apple ones. I've had to go in and manually refresh the feed. So if you've seen some disruption, that's why. We'll have links in the description for like our merch and the Patreon I just described there. Nick's podcast, if you want to go and support our sister podcast. I think that's all of the things. Richard, would you like to give any of your stuff away? No, plug your shit first.
Oh, I don't like to though, because everyone.
Do it. We need. You need more. No, you need the support, because with more support, the bigger you get, the bigger the bigger difference you can make, mate. Seriously.
Yeah, and if you're not worried about differences, is the bigger you get, is that when you come on our show, the more people are going to big, and then the bigger we get. So there's like.
Yeah, we only expect like a few stickers of the Daily Conspiracy Podcast on stage. That's it, just a couple.
Yeah. It's that old saying, like the rising rich raises small hands.
I've never heard that, but that's fantastic.
Thank you.
So we have got a Facebook page, a TikTok, and an X account. You can literally, with the Great British National Protest now, just to confuse everyone. Go on there, give us a like, give us a follow. If you do have a spare, like, £1, £2, whatever, we have got a GoFundMe, and we've got a buymeacoffee.com. It does genuinely help. We're starting to get things together now where we can we can actually pay for things like professionals to get things done. So dead excited about that. But the thing I really want to say is, take us out, Ollie.
I mean, I actually do need to get off, because my mum's been sending me pictures of a pussy all through this show. I bought her a cat yesterday, and she's just this little ginger fluffy thing. She just keeps sending me it, and it looks delightful.
To be fair, I've had many pictures of your mum's pussy, and it does look delightful.
Has she got your number?
Yeah, she's got my number. Well, I got her number. Everyone's got their number. Don't worry about it. Don't make it weird, Ollie. I'll see you next Saturday for our family meal.
Say the line.
I'm sorry, Mum.
Wait, what line? I thought that was the line.
Or maybe that was the line.
Yeah, I thought that. Unless there's another line, I don't. I'm not a professional. I don't.
We've both had a glass of wine, mate. What's the line?
Sorry, I got an email then. I must have missed the line.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
It's not my fault. Look, it was podcast stuff as well. It was it was someone I've been trying to get on as a guest.
Well, you know what? We might as well go because we're clearly fucking boring Lee.
No, it's not my. Listen, look what I have to work with. Have you any idea how fucking difficult it is keeping the water out of this boat?
You leave Ollie alone. You fucking leave Ollie alone.
You can't plug holes with those hands. Thanks very much, people.
I'll plug something.
We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Why are you a conspiracy theorist? And I said, why isn't everybody a goddamn conspiracy theorist?
This is the real research. Literally have an alien base, and they are literally communicating.
I don't have a whole lot of time.
Have you personally had any experience with interdimensional beings?
What we're thinking of as aliens, they have infiltrated a lot of aspects of military intelligence. And they are not what they claim to be.
We leave you much that is undone.
That's one small step for man.
There are great ideas undiscovered.
Visit asteroids. Visit the moon of Mars.
Remove one of truth's protective layers.
There's a monolith.
They want the major population centers wiped out.
Will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
One giant leap for mankind.
Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened.
Those challenges are yours.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
There are places to go beyond belief. Beyond belief.